We must be counted to the united and one. In this land we are discounted. Got to end our division amongst men. No. So many have been replaced with the power money brings pain. There's no reason to be anxious. Got to stand up and rise again. Now, all over the world, people are changing. Changing, my God, for the better. All over the world, people are changing.
I think you're muted, Barry.
Damn, that was so good too. I was like, good morning. All right. Anyways, yeah, good morning, everybody. Today is a beautiful, beautiful July 10th, 2020. And you are tuning into the morning Wake and Bake show with the chosen family. That is us. Hola. So the show today is brought to you by our community, Minnesota Marijuana. If you are not already a member, go ahead and add one of us to your friends list, and we'll go ahead and shoot you an invite. And then also our organization, Minnesota Normal. I almost said marijuana again. Minnesota Normal. You can visit us at www.mnnorml.org. That's mnnormal.org. And, do some research, do some clicking around. And once you've really understood what we're about, go ahead and become a dues paying member for as little as $4.20 a month and join the fight for legalization in Minnesota. So on today's show, we have some cool articles coming up for you for national. And I think we have some events coming up in local. And we also have a guest speaker coming on today. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to my man, Dave, with national.
All right, thanks, Fari. Morning, Minnesota. Majority of Pennsylvania state Democrats sent a letter to the governor and legislature leaders on Thursday, arguing that lawmakers should pursue adult use marijuana legalization in order to generate revenue to make up for losses resulting from the coronavirus pandemic. The letter, led by Senator Sharif Street, stresses that the state's economic situation is dire and that government should do absolutely everything we can to raise revenue. Street and the other 14 senators made a series of arguments in favor of approving comprehensive cannabis reform. They talked about the issues increasing bipartisan support. For example, a recent poll found that almost 2/3 of Pennsylvanians support recreational legalization, and that includes majorities of those who identify as conservative, moderate, and liberal. These guys are echoing a lot of what we're saying for our state. The racial disparity, the systemic racism, I mean, it's all part of it. And, I'm glad to see the rest of these states coming on, because it's also, economical is a very good point right now, because all these states really, really need a boost in their economy. And I think this can give it to us. And with that, I'm going to pass this off to Greg. So here.
Thanks a lot, Dave. What we also got in national news is we got in Kansas City. Mayor Lucas finally got what he wanted back in June 18th. He and 4 other council members suggested that they remove marijuana from the code books completely. And as of yesterday, a 9-4 vote on the city council approved this measure. It's no longer in the city of Kansas City, Missouri, will you find marijuana in their code book for police officers to harass you with.
Damn.
Shout out to Kansas City.
It's huge.
Yeah. That's huge.
Damn.
Thanks for that, Greg. And then I think you guys posted the comments in the comments. So if you check in the live feed, you'll find links to these articles that Dave and Greg talked about. I'm going to just jump right into the local stuff. Locally, we've got a bunch of stuff going on. If you're out in the community and you're looking for something to do to get involved, there is an event called Guns Down, Love Up. It's going to be in Minneapolis and St. Paul simultaneously from 4 o'clock to 7. I'll post information for that in the comments as well. So if you have an opportunity to get out there today, we'll be out there doing voter registration, voter pledge, supporting the community, and supporting Guns Down, Love Up. In addition to that, we have a guest speaker that's coming on the show today, Christian Foust, with Organizing Empowerment. He's going to talk a little bit about his organization, relational organizing, and once again, how we're revolutionizing the way that organizations are communicating and working with volunteers. After that, the 14th, we'll have the Secretary of State's office will be joining us on our live feed with the Wake and Bake crew. This is huge. It's history. We've never had anything like this happen for us. So it's great to see we're getting support at that level. On the 18th, we'll be in Duluth. We don't have Ginger on here this morning, but we will be in Duluth at Leif Erikson Park. So if you're in the Duluth area on the 18th, come out and join us. We'll be doing voter registration and pledging drives out there, educating the community as much as possible. July 26th, if you don't know already, Cannabis March for Freedom. It's going to be adult time. We're going to get all the supporters out to come out and support. We'll be handing out information. We'll also have a boat ride following the march. I did get some information updated. So we have performers that are going to be performing. Casual Confusion, live band that's been on the boat with us 1 year, is going to come out. They're going to play some live music for us. We're also going to have DJ North Star is going to be on the 1s and 2s. We're also going to have Louis Blaze is going to come out and drop his Legally Blaze track. And in addition to that, I just spoke with Nakima Levy-Pounds, and she's going to come out and speak for us, and she may be joining us on the boat as well. So it's going to be a good time. We'll have some great speakers. We're going to have a nice march. So if you got an opportunity, come out and support us. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to pass it off to Jenny. I don't got the joint to pass to you, but Jenny's going to drop bong cheers for us and cannabis facts for the day. You ready there? Oh, there we go.
Yep. Just got to wait on my phone. I'm faster than my phone today. So here you go, folks. Here's a little nugget for you to chew on.
The first item sold over the internet was a bag of marijuana over 40 years ago. Stanford students used, what is that? ARPANET? An early form of the internet. Nice.
What do you think he bought? You think it was an ounce? To Stanford student. Just saying.
I'm thinking more like a pound.
For our music today, I got a nice track by Mr. Mayhem. My guy, man, he's always been down for us. Let me get some music only. We'll play this track.
I'm going to give a shout out to Jeremy Sankey on Facebook. He said, how's everyone doing?
Jeremy, Minnesota veteran for cannabis.
My brother from another.
Mr. Mayhem.
Like it's legal, then splits lift, I get lifted like I'm in the gym. They say you on parole, you colder than the refrigerator. That's cause I be in my PO office with a wizardinator. Long as they grow the tree, I'll probably be off THC consistently. I'm a black hippie like I'm TDE. Smoking with white boys, it ain't no blunts or papers either. We be either off the big bong or the vaporizer. Dabbing wax like a Q-tip, I'm too lit. These moon rods got me high as fuck off 2 hits. But when I'm in the hood, I switch the sweet to backwood. I take it on the plane cause I know how to hide my sack good. I got some Death Star out of Denver. If I open up the jar, it'll reek up the whole car. I put it in the grinder first, then twist it. Say that I'm addicted, I say I get lifted.
710, everybody.
I remember the Wizinator.
Good morning, Mitch Staff on Facebook. And yes, there is a huge sale going on today at the Hideaway. 30% off all glass. Thank you, Mitch Staff, for the
Indica
update.
sativa, switch the sweets, I'm rolling back to back. Ounces quickly disappears, frivolous to buy a sack. Mary is my love, and with her, life's incredible. I'm comatose, body high, zooted off them edibles. Problems never matter
guest
when
has
I'm
arrived.
twisted off that shadow. If he talking about a drought, I ask him where he get his data. Ain't no shortage
Christian
on my
in the
end. On the
house.
greenhouse and ends. I ain't never had shit.
So that was Mr. Mayhem, Get Lifted. Go ahead and check him out. If you don't have the Minnesota Marijuana Mixtape, download it. It's free. Some local artists on there. It's pretty dope. Now I want to give a shout out to Christian Foust. Got our
Good
guest
morning, Christian.
Can you hear us, Christian?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep. Good morning, buddy.
Awesome.
Here, let me stop this.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Let's see, where did we go here? Oh, there you go. Too many screens.
Yeah.
So how's it going? So today we have Christian Foust. Christian is with Organizing Empowerment. Their organization is doing some great things. I'll let him tell you guys a little bit more about what they're doing, and then we'll do a questions and answers section after he's done talking. So go ahead, Christian.
All right. Thanks, Michael. It's great to join you all. I've been working with Michael like for what, 6 or 8 months now, maybe a little longer. So it's really exciting to be here. Organizing Empowerment Project is a really personal thing for me, actually. I helped actually found the organization back in July or August of last year. We previously to that had been a company that provided access to a relational organizing tool called MyRVP. We ran that in 2018, and we're very successful across the country. It was the largest relational organizing program that had been run nationally. We had fought really hard for about 8 years here in Wisconsin to get relational organizing recognized. Relational organizing isn't anything new. It's just a bright, shiny term that they plastered onto something that's been happening for hundreds of years, which is community organizing. What you all are doing when you're out talking to people about cannabis reform and Minnesota NORML is you're talking to people about policy and what they care about, and that's community organizing. It's identifying your community, finding out the ways that you can help one another, finding out what you care about, and lifting one another up around those things, right?
Right.
So what we wanted to do was provide a space where organizations that typically provide, like in the work that we did, we found that the organizations that typically do this work are the ones that struggle the most with getting funding. So that was our decision to create a nonprofit that would help provide funding and access to our tool for people to help relationally organize. We were fortunate enough this year to be able to help out you all with Minnesota NORML and the campaign here in Minnesota. So the Cannabis Empowerment app that you're seeing all over, that is us. We developed it in 2011 here in Wisconsin as a different kind of tool, like the same kind of tool, but it was really simple, and it was all web-based. In 2018, in 2016, we ran a test here in Wisconsin that proved to all of the national funders that this was a thing that really worked. And in 2018, I got hired by the company to come in and help develop it as a national program and develop it as a national tool. And that's what we've been doing for the last, what is now a year. So it's been a crazy year. This is one of the, actually I'm trying to stop saying crazy, so I'll pull that back a little bit because honestly, we all have mental health stuff, so I'm trying to use that less. I don't know anybody who doesn't have some degree of mental health stuff. it's just part of being human. Sorry if that made anybody uncomfortable, but I'm
Right.
speaking my truth. Like there's a lot of us that also use marijuana to deal with that mental health issue, those mental health issues as well. Marijuana is something that has allowed me to get through my depression and anxiety and those issues since I was a teenager. So like that's part of why I'm here too. We need to change the way we think about everything, and conversations with our friends is how we do it. The app itself, that's how it's built. It's built for you to be able to go into your phone contacts, select the people that you'd like to have conversations with about this. It doesn't mean that you're going to go in and try and get your friend who like hates marijuana and wants to see everybody in jail. Like that's not the person that you talk to, right? Like that's not, like if you have an antagonistic relationship with them where it's kind of poking at one another and that's how you do, like sure, go ahead, fine, that's fine. I don't really think you're ever going to move them, because I think those, like my antagonistic relationships like that, I've realized in the last couple of years, like they get joy out of it being antagonistic. Like I'm actually trying to do something and they actually just enjoy antagonizing me.
Right.
So I've cut them out some. So like the people that you're trying to do are the people who are like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but, right? And as you get to like understand what those buts are, like really listen to those buts. Like those buts are what tell you why they're upset, right? So like those conversations are really important, and you can have them with people that are close to you. If you are having them with people that you don't know so well, right? Like don't bring up marijuana till like you've had a couple conversations and you've got to know them, right? Like, or you can bring it up, but like bring it up in the sense that you're gauging where they're at, so you know where to start the conversation at. Like, are they totally anti? Are they anti just because it's illegal? Like my parents, when I'm growing up, I was told if it was legal, we wouldn't have a problem with it at all, right? And now that all of this legalization's been happening, all of a sudden my parents are like, oh, well, maybe we should legalize here in Wisconsin so that we can, oh wait, we have a shed on our property. I could build a grow operation, right? If you'd have told me 20 years ago that my parents would talk to me about building a grow operation on their farm, I would have laughed at you, told you to go away, right? But that's partially because of the change in the environment, but it's also because of conversations with me over time, right? It's also because their understanding of marijuana has changed over time because of how I've talked to them about it, right? And it's because I didn't, and it's also because like I didn't, over time I stopped responding with them of like, you're just my parents, blah, 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 right? And gradually over time, we were able to have conversations about it. And when we had those conversations, like we leveled down a bit, right? And I was able to hear where they were coming from, because like they grew up in a different time, like they were taught to follow the laws. And as I was taught to follow the laws, I saw my friends going to jail. So things felt different for me than it did for my parents. And as I explained that stuff to my parents, they started to move along with me, right? When they could see, when they knew my friends, when they started to know my friends that were getting impacted by these things, then they started to change too, right? And you can do the same things with the people you know, and then also people that you don't know so well, because like it's a great opportunity to get to know somebody a little bit better and make this a part of your relationship from the start. Like, hey, like I'm getting to know people in the community just because I care about stuff. And one of the things I'm concerned about, and with cannabis, like all that stuff, you can angle in from however you'd like, right? Like you've got healthcare, like you can hit issues across the board. Like I can't think of an issue that cannabis doesn't really affect in one way or another. Like, so there's ways that you can have these conversations and find out what they care about. And then like maybe take a week and do a little research and find out like how what they care about overlaps with marijuana stuff, and go back to them and be like, hey, did you know this? You know, and sometimes they'll bite and sometimes they won't, right? And that's okay. But like the idea is the app is there for Michael to be able to send you all prompts to be able to like regularly have conversations that are going to help you move along your conversation with your friends. So that's the goal. It's to empower all of you to be able to empower Michael to do the work that he does the best, which like I'll just say right here, Michael is one of the best organizers I've worked with in the country. I'm working with a lot of them right now, and you're badass, Michael.
Man, I appreciate it, Christian. And I actually want to give a shout out to you guys for helping us out on this. Sign Up Black, huge shout out to you.
I didn't even notice Sign Up was on.
Yeah.
Hey, Christian, how you doing?
But yeah, without you guys' help, we wouldn't be where we are right now. You know, our organization has been doing this work for years and years and years, and you guys brought us light years just over the last year. You know, so I really appreciate all the help that you guys have provided us, and we're going to continue to do the best we can. I also want to give a huge shout out to the Chosen family and my Wake and Bake crew, because you guys are kicking ass, man. You've been helping out on that app, on our pledges. We've gone over the app a couple times. I did send out calls to action to you guys yesterday at 4:20. I think it didn't go out till 4:21. I think Jenny was sending a 4:22 shot in the group chat, but hopefully you guys got a chance to see that. We're trying to recruit people to come and march with us and with Najima. But I did want to use this time for you guys to do some questions and answers with Christian before he has to get out of here. One major question that we do want to ask is, I have a couple volunteers that have been working with us. Ed is in Franklin, Minnesota. Dave is in Blue Earth. They're helping us in greater Minnesota. I'm going to add Lamar. We normally just leave people in purgatory when we're
I'm going to give a shout out to a couple people on Facebook real quick. Joanne Madrid, happy 710. Jana Wolf, good morning. John Schmidt, yes, legalize it, Minnesota. Ian Russell had a question, asked when are the next elections for legal marijuana in Minnesota? But then, yeah, Joanne also said that we're the best normalizers. Talking to friends and family and if safe coworkers is the best way to change the tide.
Right. Thank you, Jenny. And then I just wanted to add on that real quick. Legalization is not on the ballot in Minnesota this year. In order for us to get it on the ballot, we have to pass it through the House. We have to pass it through the Senate. If you're not following any of the political stuff, the issues that we had last year is we don't have enough support in the Senate. The bill that they did introduce, which also was not a great bill anyway, actually got beat 6-3. So we have to get legislators in there that are actually going to hear the bills and pass that legislation. The only way that it will get on the ballot is if it gets to the governor's desk so he can sign. So there's a long process, but please get involved any way that you can. Back to Christian real quick. So Ed Engelman and Dave Polkarabek. Did I say that right, Dave? I always have some.
Well, you got the 3 syllables in there, but you're pushing it too hard. It's just Polkarabek. Polkarabek.
Okay, there we go. So they've been helping out for a long time. I met Dave in 2018 at the rally that we did at the state capitol. I've met Ed over and over again over the years. He's been a huge supporter. He's actually one of the long-term normal members since before I even got involved. They've been doing this work for years. But they're running for office this year for legal marijuana now.
Great.
The question is, they've been helping us with the empowerment app to recruit volunteers and kind of build our support up. So yeah, I think you see where we're going with this.
Yeah, I think they got to hand off their supporters.
So we shouldn't have.
So like, I think, yeah, like it's unfortunately like as candidates, you're going to start to blur. You're going to start to get really blurry really fast. So like, the best thing to do is just to start to separate up some. And Michael, like we can have talks online about that, but like the less like you can't appear to have coordination at all, and this would start to appear to be coordination.
All right, thanks, Christian. So there it is, Dave. I know we had a couple questions about what we can do because we already kind of ruled out doing voter registration. We also ruled out a couple of other things, but
I actually think like this would actually be like, Michael, like I'll send like get my calendar link and let's have a call with the three of us.
Sounds good. How's
I
that?
think that's
Dave? Okay.
It's better than on Facebook.
Yeah,
Zoom.
right.
Wink, wink.
Gotcha.
Because we want to make sure that we're doing everything the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
I know I've stressed that to you guys over and over. Like we've had this conversation a bunch of times about different stuff as well. And it's better for us to be clear and make sure we're doing the things that we're supposed to when we're not doing anything. And then you got to think in November, the elections will be over. Either you're going to be in office or you'll be back on the team helping us do this. You know, the work doesn't stop because the election is over. You know, this is 24/7 all year round that we do this work. So we'll connect offline and we'll figure out, you know, we can and can't do it, get it clear.
And like, honestly, you're good as long as you're not sharing strategies. Like you can't like, David and Ned, like you can't come on here like and talk like about what you're going to do with your campaign.
Right.
Like you can't come into this space and let them all know. Like, and then also like, if normal, we're going to do something in support of David and Ned, like you can't coordinate with them and let them know that you're going to do it.
Right.
And the other advice that I have, just like, so we say it here, is that wall, I've got a lot of years of it, following these wall laws and working with candidates. And usually I'm on the independent expenditure side. So I'll just say, be really diligent, follow the laws. You're going to have people on the candidate side telling you to be looser with them. Follow the strict interpretation. If anybody tells you that you can be looser with them, don't be. Like follow the laws, because right now the Republicans are not following these laws, but they are watching us to make sure that we do.
Just
and
like
they're
in my
watching
race.
us more. Yes, they are going to be watching you. I've ran races in Minnesota and the GOP will send trackers. The GOP will send video to your house. I worked with a candidate that they were concerned that the candidate was no longer living in the district. And the GOP put a tripwire across the end of his driveway to find out how often he was actually like showing up at his house. So, yeah.
So it's a lot. And
yeah,
Christian,
like, so like, that's why I'm saying like, we can have a conversation and I can help you navigate those waters and we can have that conversation and be legal. So.
Right. And thank you for reiterating that, Chris. I know you guys, I've said it over and you guys hear me say it all the time. I had to have Ginger take her shirt off the other day. Ed had to change his background. You know, I know it's all stupid, petty stuff that, you know, it really seems like, why are you tripping over this? But we got to keep it right. You know, we can't, you know, do anything we're not supposed to. We got to make sure we're following the laws. So I want to thank you for reiterating that, Christian, because I've been saying it over and over, but I want you guys to understand the importance of what we're doing. And you got to understand that there's people that don't want to see cannabis legalized, and they'll find any reason they can to kind of stop the momentum that we're building. So make sure we're being smart.
And right now, there's still people on both sides that will do some stuff to make sure it never happens. So like, just be super careful. And the thing is the laws that we're talking about right now, these laws about walls between independent expenditures and candidates, they seem like they're really getting in the way and everything. But what they're actually doing is protecting you. Like the things that, like, when you were talking about corporate control and like corporate influencing politics, like that's one of the things that they're trying to stop here is big money from independent expenditures being able to drive independent campaigns. So they're like, these laws are actually there, like they're actually supporting us, but the way they're working right now, because of the environment we're in, it feels toxic. So our system's broken.
Right. We got to start somewhere.
so we got to follow the laws that we have right now so that we can fix them. It's shitty, but it's where we are.
Right.
And I've been having this conversation for years. I hate it.
Right. Hey, Christian, you got a little more time?
I do.
So I'm gonna take it to Vari is out of here.
Vari got into a dead zone on his phone, so.
Okay, does somebody want to take us out from the live sign up? I see you raising your
Well, I
hand.
just want to ask one question to Christian before we got out.
Yeah.
So with the app, are you all looking at an ability to be able to contact multiple folks at one time versus, individually contacting people? Is there anything in the works with making that process quicker for the volunteer?
Right now, we're focusing on the individual contact because we want them to stay relational. Honestly, like we're concerned about the app being used traditionally and people not having, like people have been trained in volunteer and activist circles to have those like blast conversations. And the thing is they don't really work, right? So if we open that up in the tool, we're afraid that actually like just allows people to do those blasts. And then they're not going to have those like more one-on-one conversations, if that makes sense. So we're trying to walk that line right now, like, and we're learning a lot this year. So we're watching the tool and seeing how that works, but like, we want to lean into relationship building. So right now that's very intentional.
Are you guys doing this after the elections, or are you guys only focused on the elections?
Yeah, that's also why we're doing that sign on, is because we're not just focused on turning out for November. We want to make sure that you all turn out in November, but then also can turn around in December and continue to build your base and have a bigger base than when you went in November. And then continue the like in November, like take 2 weeks off and then like, hey, like, and then invite everybody to a Zoom and have a big smoke out or whatever and celebrate whatever you won in November, right? Or mourn whatever you lost. I have no idea what's going to happen this year.
Right.
So, and I'm afraid that win or lose we'll be mourning some. So, like, I just think we will be because of that candidate. But
Yeah.
That's my own personal opinion, no one else's. So yeah, we need to keep building in November. Sino, when we talked last year, we didn't know if we'd be a thing in 2021. It very much looks like we'll be a thing in 2021.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Sino, like, you'll get this. Right now, we are the most used tool at the America Vote Stable in the country.
I know they talked to me about that too. I think that's dope. That's real dope, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's like, and Michael and Sino, like, you were a part of that. Just the fact that you all were so bought in, and like, it's this work that matters. It's not that the other work doesn't matter, but like, the other work informs this work. That when they're out gathering that data, when they're out gathering talking points and messaging points, what all of that stuff really is just tools for you all to use in your conversations. You're the best messengers. That messaging that comes from normal, that messaging, what that's meant to do is for you to put that in your own language. It's meant to be like, hey, we studied this and this is what we think works, but what you should really do is take it and then take what they're giving you and put it in your own language, because your friends, if you put it in like a stilted language that sounds like it comes from a study that you just read, your friends are going to check out. Like, even like people that you know will check out because they know you care about marijuana and they know you care about politics. And so there's a part of their brain that goes, oh, they're just trying to get me to do this thing, right? So like, when you put it in your own language, like, that's the power of it. And I actually think that you all have been one of the greatest examples of putting that language into that use. And I just want to say, with your presence at the protests and you continuing to fight against the stigma. I want to thank you all for that. Michael, your posts have been inspiring me. I've been following through the uprisings. I stand with you all. And like, if we don't take care of this marijuana prohibition, criminal justice reform is hollow. So this is an attack on Black people. It has been since we started attacking marijuana.
Right.
So my grandparents like talked about Louis Armstrong all the time, but never talked about the fact that like he smoked grass every day and he talked about it and he sang songs about it. Right. So
yeah, huge shout out to you, Christian, and organizing empowerment for all the help that you guys have given us. Congratulations on being able to build you guys' school up, man. I'm glad to be one of the organizations to have been able to test that out for you guys and show that it's working for us. We've actually been able to dramatically increase our volunteers and outreach. Huge shout out to the Chosen family that have also been out in the community with us at all of these events. It hasn't been me by myself, especially Corey and Aaron. We were actually out cleaning up with rubber bullets flying by our heads.
Yeah,
that was dope.
I mean, it was crazy. The police didn't even bother us. We got head nods from the police officers saying thank you. But what's crazy is the looters were even saying thank you. So it's crazy, you know. Thank you guys all for all the support, everybody in here, the whole Wake and Bake crew. You know, we've all been doing tremendous work. We're going to continue to do that work. Shout out to Christian Foust as well. We don't have bars, so I'm gonna. What was that, Christian?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I might hit you all up and just join sometime for fun. So
no. Well, we're on every single day.
Yeah.
From 9 a.m. until 10:30 or later. After we stop the live, we usually hang out for a while as well. So if you're watching on Facebook and you want to join us, feel free to join us. I think I attached the link to the actual live. Yeah, so let me take us out of here. I'm gonna put Mr. Mayhem back on. Hold on, Corey. Did you have a strain of the day?
Ooh. Mute. Corey, you're muted. Corey, you're muted.
Oh shit. I said yes, sir. If you want to make it so I can share my screen, I'll share it.
Yep, give me 1 second. So we got a new thing for those of you watching us on Facebook, is now we're doing our morning intro with Vari. We're doing bong cheers with Jenny, and we're gonna do strain of the day with Corey and Aaron. So let me give you a co-host so you can share your strain of the day. And
Anna Wolf likes that Corey kid.
Yeah, that's my mama.
I know it is. That's why I had to give her a shout out real quick.
Shout out to Corey's mom.
Yeah, Corey mom.
Corey mom.
Out on the River 5. Can't wait. Yes.
So this is Northern Lights. It's 16 to 20% pure indica, or 16 to 21% THC pure indica. Fire. It is one of the most potent strains in the market, and it is that's another thing. It's one of the most sought after in the West Coast, including Colorado. It's the most purchased out there, and then it's a descendant of the Afghani landrace weed. If anybody knows anything about that.
Right.
Interesting. Excellent.
Nice.
Well, thanks for that, Corey. Bar usually gives us some inspiration today. He's not on because he's in a dead spot. Does anybody have any inspirational quote that they want to take us out with?
Be happy. Love everybody.
Be nice to people. Be nice to everyone.
Guns down.
That's it. Be nice to everyone.
Right.
Karma.
Bob Marley always says it the best.
Peace, drugs, and rock and roll, people.
Treat others like
Thanks, everybody.